bar none, this is the best fire department, definitely in the region, if not in the United States.
I think throughout the Virginia Beach Fire Department, there's people that have always kind of encouraged leaders to continue to grow, and I think there's been hundreds of outstanding leaders in this organization that have made the fire department what it is, and I think they bring value. The legacy of the fire department is shared by the retirees coming in and talking about their experiences and sharing the stories about people and the stories about how things were done and the way the organization has changed from being, a very small volunteer organization to this metro fire department now, and the growth that we've seen, and from one person on a fire truck to striving to get 4 on every fire apparatus.
Every retiree wants to see the good name of the Virginia Beach Fire Department continue. That reputation that we have, like I said, throughout the region, throughout the country, really. Still, we check the news, we check fires online, and we want to make sure everything tradition-wise that we're staying to the highest standard possible.
The retirees have that knowledge, and as they sit down at the table and share that information, I think everybody just feels like a sponge and wants to suck it all up, because it's such an interesting legacy, and it's such valuable information to understand where we came from, and to kind of let the next generation set the path forward.
In order to continue that forward momentum, leaders must pass the torch.
It's never easy, but at some point you got to move on and let succession take place. And obviously with my job as the deputy, there was a lot of people underneath me that were moving up, and they're going to move this fire department even farther than it is today.
Obviously, it is difficult to hang up the uniform for the last time. So how does a seasoned firefighter know when to say when?
Well, originally I think everybody has a date and age set up in their, in the back of their mind. And for me, it was the 30-year, 55 years old. It was a good time for me. Everybody's got their own reason, but typically firefighters will go 25 to 30 years. Unless you're Chief King and he goes 55 years. But he started riding up front when he was like 9, 10 years old, so he's a good man. The people before I got hired, it was my obligation to move the fire department forward, and I think our new leaders today, it's their obligation to move Virginia Beach Fire Department even more forward.
Chief Ramsey did precisely that when he made the tough decision to retire from the Virginia Beach Fire Department after almost 30 years of dedicated service, stepping down to make room for others to step up.
Chief Ramsey kind of always was one step ahead of me, and I always looked up to James and how we worked together. We were together a couple times, and for me, he's always kind of set a good path, and he's always encouraged me to continue to keep trying. And then obviously, all of the senior staff and Chief Cover and Chief Dizell and Chief Cade all kind of gave me opportunities in my path, and I think as leaders, we need to continue to encourage the people below us to keep driving and to keep recognizing those little sparks that can turn into something in the future.
Sounds easy, doesn't it?
Leadership would be easy if all our firefighters were A players. They're not, but all our employees have value, and you as a leader got to find what that value, what that strength is, and then you got to work on their weakness and help them, be a part of your team.
And I think you're always wondering, what can I do better to make the people who are counting on me to lead them be as efficient and as effective as possible, and make sure that they're as safe as possible. And so you're kind of always thinking about what else can I do to make myself a better servant to the people who I'm representing.
So really, servant leadership is really about showing that next group of leaders, like I said, by example, that you're committed, you have highest character, and you're competent. You know what you're doing. It's not an easy burden to shoulder if you're doing the job right. If you're If you're the type of leader that, you're skipping your drills, or you're skipping physical fitness, or, maybe you're not going out doing area familiarization, then you're not being competent to your rank, being that positive impact on the people below you, because they're going to be leaders one day, and you're not. You definitely lead by example, and believe me, they're watching you. They are watching you.
You're fooling yourself if you think you're just going to do what you've always done and succeed and move up in leadership. You have to kind of take those steps to push yourself, to be challenged, to think a little differently, and the education component adds to that piece. It makes you think about things from a different perspective.
It is worth noting that the people under your command may have a different perspective of you now that the lettering on your uniform has turned from white to gold.
Well, so for the new company officer, they're going to walk in the kitchen now, and it's going to get quiet at times. That's okay, as long as every time you walk in the kitchen, it doesn't get quiet. If that happens, then you probably need to look in the mirror and see some of your leadership style that may need to change.
Leadership does have its price, but there are rewards as well.
It makes me feel good that people understand that I am working for them and that they have the respect in me to put me in the position to have that role and to look out for people below me.
All our officers have a watch, their standing watch. A company officer, it's his team, his company, that they go home safe and that they perform at the highest level when the citizens are in need. And then when you move up to battalion chief, your watch grows a little bigger. You have a watch over, your 5, 6 companies, and that they stay safe, and that when you're in command, that you see things, you're proactive enough. Maybe sometimes you have to, not be the popular call, but you have to pull them out and go defensive mode to keep them safe. So then as you go to senior staff, your watch even grows bigger. It's the watch over the whole department. Are we collecting data so we can get more monies? Are we, capital improvement? Are we building buildings where we need to protect the citizens? Apparatus, do we have the latest and greatest in equipment?
Phenomenal organization, and we take care of each other. We truly see each other as brothers and sisters. When one of us is hurting, we're all hurting. When one of them's in trouble, we're all trying to help out. So I think that embodies the culture of our fire department. I
think really your compass should be the values that the Virginia Beach Fire Department holds. The honesty, integrity, caring, trust. Those are really your compass to succeed as a leader.
The 4 points of the personal compass retired Deputy Chief Ramsey is speaking of represent, in the words of columnist Brian Lisker, principles we won't sacrifice for anything, because these are the ideals most important to those we serve.